This tutorial will give an overview of Audacity, which is a free cross-platform sound editor. It's available at audacity.sourceforge.net. If you come down to this link right here, you'll be provided an area for downloading for different operating systems. So you can download and install the software here. Once it's installed, you see the Audacity editor. We basically want to address recording your voice, being able to zoom in and out and look at that file to find areas where you can edit the file, show you how to copy portions of the file, to cut and remove unwanted areas, use the sound envelope tool to control volume and do fade in, fade outs, and to be able to import other audio files and have multiple tracks here with the intent of ultimately being able to output that as a single audio file that can be uploaded into other editors. So let's go ahead and do a simple voice recording. I do that by coming up to the controls here. This is the recording button. Once I record something, I'll be able to play back by clicking this arrow. I can pause while I'm recording or during playback. This stops the recording process, and this takes you to the far end of the recording and back to the beginning of the recording. There are some various tools over here. We'll primarily be using the I-beam to select areas of our recording. We'll be using the magnifying glass to zoom in and out. We'll be using the sound envelope tool to control volume, and we'll be using this time shift tool to move things back and forth on our track as necessary. So here we go. You start recording by simply clicking this red dot. And now you can see that as I'm recording, sound waves are being represented here on this timeline. So right here I'm into 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds. I can pause this by clicking the pause button, and I can resume it by clicking on it again. I can stop the recording by clicking here. Now to go back and play that recording, I'll take it back to the beginning and push play. And now you can see that as I'm recording, sound waves are being represented here on this timeline. So right here I'm into 8 seconds. I can go back to this beginning and say there's a lot of silence here, maybe a little bit of sound interruption, so it actually starts there, right there. Highlight that, say edit, and cut. And now I have a recording right from the beginning. Sometimes when you're working with audio files, the graphic image of the audio file is so small that it's difficult to see exactly where to edit. At about 8 seconds into this recording, I took a deep breath, and I'd like to eliminate that. You'll see that it's difficult to see as I play it back here. So right here I'm into 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds. I can pause this by right there is where my breath occurred, but it's difficult to see exactly where to edit. So I'm going to go up here to the magnifying glass and then click on this, and it will expand the graphic image. I'll give it another click, and now I'm going to go up here to click my I-beam so I can select this again, and at about 8 seconds I'll start playing. So right here I'm into 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds. And right there is my breath. So what I want to do is go in and identify that area, and I can drag and select that, and then simply say edit, cut, and I can eliminate the breath there on this timeline. So right here I'm into 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds. I can pause. When I make an Audacity recording, I first want to save it as a project. So I go to File, Save the Project. I like to say Save As so I can find exactly where I want to save it. It's telling me that it's going to produce a project file with an extension of AUP, and it lets me save everything exactly as it is on the screen. This is a working file that I can get back to and continue to edit. Now you can see that I've already saved the file here, but if I wanted to save it again, I could click Save and I could overwrite that file. So you simply would click Save at this point. Once you've saved your project file in Audacity, you can now save the sound file out for use in other editors and players. I'm going to go up here to File, and in this case I'm going to say export it as a WAV. I could export it as an MP3 as well, but here I'm going to say save it as a WAV. It picks up the name of the project, Audacity Intro 4 DST in this case, with an extension of WAV, W-A-V. And you can see that I've saved this file before here, but let's say that I've made some changes to it and I want to overwrite it. I could simply go here and say save, and then I'm going to agree that I'm overwriting the file, and now I've saved my file. If you're not overwriting a file, just simply save it and you'll have your WAV file. This is an example of how to import an audio file and control the sound level with the envelope tool. In this example, I've already recorded my narration. I'll go up to Project and Import Audio. And I have a project here called Tattooed Lady, a digital story that I'm working on. And I've downloaded a sound file from the internet. I'm going to click on that and say open it. And it will begin importing this file. Now, this file is a stereo file, and it's created a new track. You can see by the size of the sound waves and the intensity here that it's most likely going to overpower my voice. So let's listen to that. Tattooed Lady. At first you scared me. Rings in your nose and tattoos extending beyond your clothing, sometimes more revealing than others. Covered with messages, both it's definitely too loud. So what I'm going to do is go up here and select my envelope tool. I'll come down to this second track and look at the little double arrows right here. I grab the top of the track and I just lower the volume down, and now let's listen to that. Take it back to the beginning and play. Tattooed Lady. At first you scared me. Rings in your nose and tattoos extending beyond your clothing, sometimes more revealing than others. Okay, so I've reduced the sound a little bit here. It's put a mark on the track, and that will allow me to reduce the sound down further, raise it up and down. And I can also fade in. So I can squeeze this down and have the music fade in. I can establish a new point here and drag this to have it fade out. And I can take the music all the way down here. I may be wanting the music to last a little longer than the narration, because in the end of my story I'll have some credits, so I'll need to think about that. But let's hear what this sounds like. Tattooed Lady. At first you scared me. Rings in your nose and tattoos extending beyond your clothing, sometimes more revealing than others. Covered with messages, both visual and textual. Like any software tool, Audacity provides a wide range of tools and effects and so forth that can be employed. You'll go a long way if you focus on the items that we've covered in this tutorial.